kicks over, and it starts on ether, which is amazing. It won't stay started, but I'm going to try to figure that out today. So was looking at the fitting back there is this one right back here. This is for the fuel pressure. So I'm going to hook up a gauge to that, see what's going on with that. I looked at all the electrical. I'm going to have to start reconnecting some things. I found a weird harness that kind of disassembled itself. I don't know how. So I'm going to try to figure out where that goes to. New things, someone had already cut a hole in the back of the vehicle for the fuel pump, which is kind of nice. Makes my life just slightly easier. I pulled some trim pieces out so that I could get to the electrical and do some testing on the fuel pump relay and the fuel pump electrical. Get this stuff out of the way. There's the infamous trapdoor, and there is the fuel pump. Now I have to take a look and see what kind of pressures I'm getting. I'm going to take pressures at the fuel rail, but I'm also going to take pressures at the fuel filter. I want to make sure that this fuel pump is bad before I actually start throwing parts at it. Another thing, because this happened. Yeah, that's the door key stuck in the lock. I got a key extractor from Amazon that I'm going to try to use today to see if I can get that out and see if someone can make me some more keys. That'd be nice. But at least the hatch still open, so I'm not going to fill the entire inside with gas if I have to open this thing up. So yeah, my goal today is figure out the fuel problem, because I know that I have ignition. I checked it with a spark tester. We're good with that. So you know, got compression, got spark. Now I got to figure out the fuel issue. So that's today. So I think I figured out the fuel pump problem. First, what I did was, this is the test connector that GM gives you. If you apply direct 12-volt power to this connector, it will run the fuel pump, regardless of whether or not the the computer tells it to. You just hook that up to your battery positive here. This may not be the safest way to do it, but I'm doing it anyway. So with it running, that's my fuel pressure. It's like 5 psi. That should be like in the 41 psi range. So looks like we're going to be putting a new fuel pump in here. Hopefully that kind of fixes the problem. Yeah, if I'm not getting pressure, and that's a new filter in there. That's a brand new filter underneath the car. We need to put a fuel pump in here because it's not developing pressure. Now I'm going to pull the pump anyway, just to see if like maybe a line or something got kinked in there. And I started looking underneath, and I couldn't see anything that was damaged. But I'll take a look. I'll just double check, triple check before I order a pump on this. So here's where we stand. And I have no idea what's going on in the background. I used this Ansel tool here, and I applied battery voltage directly to the power wire back here, just to see if that might be an issue somewhere in the wiring, because I did take a voltage measurement as the pump was running, and we were looking at 11.6 or 11.7 volts. I think it was 11.7 because the battery voltage was at 12.35. So after doing that, I only got about 6 or 7 psi out of this pump. I'm pretty sure this pump is done. So I'm going to be ordering a new pump. It doesn't seem like there's any auto parts stores around here that have one. So looks like I'm going to have to see what I can do. So I bought a new fuel pump yesterday. Got it at Napa. They had one in stock. Here's the part number for it. I'm going to try to get the old one out and put this one in and see if that solves our problem. So I finally got the fuel pump out of the car. It was a little more difficult because of these quick connect fittings and where the hole was cut. I'll show you the hole. And the way that whoever cut this before, there's one fitting that's way back in there, and that's the fuel feed that goes back to the engine. The other ones are for evap and for return line. I'm just going to stuff that back in there. So let's take a look at this. This is probably an aftermarket fuel pump that somebody put in, because this right here, that's the fill that goes to, or that's the outlet of the fuel pump. It was band clamped, it looks like, on there, and yeah, it kind of just fell apart. So that's probably the reason why we weren't getting any fuel pressure, or very little, because this hose is only resting onto this right here. I can show it one-handed. If that's only resting on there, you're going to get most blow-by out of the pump. So it probably just cracked, and that's where you got loss of all your fuel pressure, and it just stopped working. So I really don't care at this point in time. I'm going to actually replace with the actual part for this. I don't have to worry about clamps or anything else, because it's a Delco part. So I'm going to start disassembling this, and then put it back together, and we'll see what happens. So here's the old fuel pump. This one looks like it was the aftermarket one. I already pulled the fuel sack off, so we're left with this ring here. A pair of hose pliers works really well. Just twist that right off. 2 clips on the back. Take those off like this. Kind of just work them out. And then this fuel assembly comes apart, something to this effect. Something like that. And it comes off of this rail right here, comes out, and then we can start working on the hoses on the other side. We've got our supply hose, which this is the reason why I was only getting 5 psi at the fuel rail, was because of this hose clamp, because this is an aftermarket unit. I'll show you that later. We've also got our return line here, and I'm not sure what this other line is, but I can look it up. After all those are disconnected, all we have is the electrical connector. It's got 1 tab on it. Pull that up, like so, and our fuel pump is free. You can tell this was aftermarket because someone had cut this. The one that I have is sealed from the factory. It also has no hose clamp here. So this is a aftermarket fuel pump, and that's probably why he had to use this clamp on here. Now, it failed at where this clamp got onto this the outlet for the pump. So now we've got all that apart. Now we can start putting things back together. We also need to remove the old fuel line from the pump out, and these are quick connects, or quick connects, not quick disconnects. So squeeze both sides. I like using these. They seem to work really well on the car for some reason. If that doesn't work, I can always use them. Squeeze the inside, pull down on the fitting. One goes up, one goes down, and it comes right off, just like that. My kit also came with a new bumper here, so I will be replacing that as well. This is our float, electrical connector, our quick connect here. This did come with a new quick connect, so I'll probably end up just taking this one completely off, and that way I can use the new pieces. I'm going to clean this up a little bit. It's a little rusty. We'll do that, and then just take a look at the whole thing just to make sure everything is good. So I'm gonna go get the bumper, get that. I got a new fuel sock for the bottom. That's gonna go in. So from there, let me go get that bumper and we'll go from there. Got our new bumper, put that in. Installation is reverse of the removal. So bumper goes in, take our fuel pump, clip it in into our rail, push up, and it should just snap into place, just like that. Just snaps into place. I'm going to reconnect our fuel line. Just comes in, clips, we're good. I'm going to reconnect our return line. I know I probably shouldn't be bending this, but this is brand new rubber, so I'm okay with it. Just like that. We're going to take our, looks like an overflow line, or like a dump line. We'll locate that behind the entire assembly, straight up, just like so, and that should clip right into place, just like that. Reconnect our electrical. Clips in, there we go. That is one complete fuel system. One thing, if there is an O-ring, and there should be, such as this one here, you're going to want this O-ring here, you're going to want to replace this. Mine came in the kit as well, so we'll just pull that straight out and we'll put the new one in. Maybe I should have done this before I put the fuel pump on. I should be able to make it work without totally destroying the stuff that I just bought. There we go. So replace that. I'll put that back in, and we'll bolt this back into its home. Reconnect our quick connects, our electrical, and we'll see what this does to the fuel pressure system. Almost forgot to install this. Metal retainer. Just clips in. It's a pressure fit, and I don't know if it goes on one way or not. Yeah, it's fighting me. There we go. And we're in. Done. So here's our new pump. I did put the new seal on it. See? Right there. Now we're gonna have to finagle this thing in here a little bit. But there we go. And we're in. Now, there is a lip. There is a secondary portion of the tank that this thing fits in. It's towards the back. So we're gonna kind of move that towards that. There we go. You'll know when you're in. Now, see what we can do about these lines here on the back side. These are the ones that were fighting me before. Slightly easier for me to be in the trunk when I do this. still glad I don't have to drop the tank to do this. Well, looks like we are in there. There is the main line for this is all the way in the back. And I can't show it to you. There. Once that's in, I'll try to snap the two ends together. May have to get these hose pliers out to do this. At least just to hold the line in place while I try to quick connect them back together. As much as this looks like a pain, pulling the differential on the back end of this would be even worse. This is a bit frustrating. Oh, that actually might help. One of these lines is a nylon line back here. I'm going to move it just slightly out of the way. I can get my pliers on it. Hold the fitting while I try to snap these two lines together. I have to get the fuel pump in, and I didn't video that because I was struggling with it and I looked foolish. So it's in and everything is connected. That is the electrical connector for the fuel pump. The wire is over here. So there's your transmission tunnel or driveline tunnel. Above that, that's the top of the trunk. Behind this is that's the whole fuel tank assembly. So this is right behind the driver's side, passenger side. So just plugs in into there. And there you go. That's the main electrical connector for the fuel pump. So now we're going to prime the lines a few times because we dropped all the pressure out of it, and we'll see where we sit. I've got the gauge hooked up to the engine. All right, so we got 42 psi at the fuel rail. There it was. Looks like it's dropping a little bit. I might have a leaking injector or something. I'll have to check into that, but that's pretty good for fuel pressure. All the radiator lines are hooked up, all the clamps are in. Everything that is not connected to the mass airflow or the air box is connected wire-wise. I did throw some water into the coolant, into the radiator, just to make sure that everything held. Looks like it dropped a little bit. He may have to throw some more in, but we got water in there. I want to circulate it. This is the moment of truth. Let's actually see if this thing will start now. Yes, I know. That mess right there, yeah, I need to take care of that. That's that old good wrench vehicle security system that somebody totally jacked. I hear the fuel pump, and security light is out. Clutch is down. Come on, baby. You caught. Okay, that's weird. It's like the entire ignition system just died on me. It's like everything just died on me. And why did everything just die on me? Well, looks like I need to take some voltage measurements, look at some fuses. It's running.
I'm curious to see if it's actually charging. I don't think I can do this with one hand. So yes, it was the fuel pump. We're getting 40 psi now. Just shy, so it's like 39 and a half. Curious to see what that thing's going to do when I hit the accelerator. Sounds a little rough. Got some valve ramp going on. Maybe a vacuum leak. It doesn't like to idle all that well, unless you run. And yes, those are open headers. Wow, even the temperature looks good for now. That oil pressure is way higher than it should be. I think that gauge might be wrong. I am very happy right now.